Undead creatures have long been a source of fear and fascination. Whether it's zombies rising from the grave or ancient spirits haunting the earth, these beings stir something deep inside us. Their eerie, unnatural nature sends chills down the spine. In every culture, stories of the undead persist, each with its own unique, terrifying creatures. Some are familiar, while others remain largely unknown. In this video, we explore the 10 most terrifying undead creatures in the world. Their stories will make you question what lies beyond the grave. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chilling content. 1. Zombies. Zombies are perhaps the most famous undead creatures, known worldwide. These reanimated corpses feed on the living. They are most commonly associated with the Caribbean folklore of voodoo. In modern media, zombies have evolved into mindless, flesh-eating monsters. They are often depicted as slow-moving but relentless. The idea of a zombie apocalypse has terrified people for generations. With no mind of their own, zombies are driven solely by hunger. Their decaying, rotting bodies are terrifying enough. The fact that anyone can become a zombie adds to their horror. The fear of an unstoppable, growing horde makes zombies one of the most terrifying undead creatures. Zombies have no emotions, no reasoning, and no individual identity, which makes them both chilling and hard to relate to. They are driven only by an insatiable hunger for human flesh, particularly the brain. What makes zombies especially terrifying is that they are not just a threat to the living. Anyone can become a zombie. A single bite or scratch from an infected zombie could transform a healthy person into one of them, ensuring that the horror continues to spread. The fear of becoming one of the undead, losing control over your body and mind, adds an extra layer of dread. Additionally, zombies are often depicted as part of a growing, unstoppable horde. 2. Vampires. Vampires are another iconic undead creature. These bloodthirsty beings are known for their immortality and thirst for human blood. While their origins vary, vampires have become a central figure in horror literature. With sharp fangs and supernatural powers, they strike fear in the hearts of their victims. The idea of an immortal creature feeding off the living is both alluring and terrifying. In folklore, vampires can transform into bats, wolves, or mist, making them unpredictable and hard to escape. Many cultures have their own version of the vampire, each with its own terrifying qualities. Some vampires can control the minds of their victims, adding a psychological element to their fear. The idea that vampires could be hiding among us makes them all the more frightening. With their allure and their danger, vampires have earned a spot as one of the most terrifying undead creatures. 3. Ghosts. Ghosts are the spirits of the deceased that have not moved on to the afterlife. They can appear as apparitions, sounds, or even smells. Some ghosts are benign, but others are angry or vengeful. The idea of encountering a spirit that once lived among us is deeply unsettling. Ghosts are often tied to tragic or violent deaths. This makes their presence feel like a warning or a cry for justice. Their ability to pass through walls and appear at will makes them unpredictable and unnerving. Ghosts can be found in haunted houses, graveyards, or even in abandoned buildings. Their cold, eerie touch or the sensation of being watched only adds to their terror. The possibility that a loved one might return as a ghost can be both comforting and terrifying. Ghosts are one of the most terrifying undead creatures because of their ability to linger in the living world. 4. Banshees. A banshee is a creature from Irish folklore, known for its terrifying wail. According to legend, a banshee is a female spirit who warns of impending death. Her wail is said to be so loud and mournful that it can be heard for miles. The banshee is not always seen, but is often described as a pale, ghostly woman with long, flowing hair. Her appearance is considered an omen, signaling that death is near. In some stories, the banshee appears to families to mourn the loss of a loved one. The banshee's haunting cry strikes fear into those who hear it, as it signifies doom. Her eerie presence and connection to death make her one of the most terrifying undead creatures in folklore. The thought that death could be announced by such a creature adds a layer of dread to her wail. 5. The Wendigo. The Wendigo is a creature from Native American folklore, particularly in the Algonquian-speaking tribes. It is said to be a malevolent, cannibalistic spirit that preys on humans. The Wendigo is often depicted as a gaunt, emaciated being with glowing eyes and a hunger for human flesh. The creature is associated with extreme cold and the wilderness, often lurking in the deep forests. Those who fall victim to the Wendigo are believed to become infected with its insatiable hunger. This curse leads them to become Wendigos themselves. The Wendigo's horrifying appearance and its insatiable appetite for human flesh make it one of the most terrifying undead creatures. The idea that a person could be transformed into a Wendigo by their own greed or hunger is a chilling thought. 6. La Llorona. La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a figure in Latin American folklore. She is the spirit of a woman who drowned her children in a fit of rage and now roams the earth searching for them. Her cries of sorrow can be heard echoing through the night. According to the legend, anyone who hears her weeping is in danger of falling victim to her wrath. La Llorona is often depicted as a ghostly figure wearing white, her face hidden by long, wet hair. The tragedy of her story adds to the terror surrounding her. She is said to drown children who are alone by bodies of water, as she is forever trying to replace her lost children. The idea of a grieving, angry mother hunting the living makes La Llorona a terrifying, undead creature. 7. The Mummy. Mummies are the preserved bodies of ancient Egyptians and other civilizations. These undead creatures are often brought back to life through curses or rituals. The most famous mummy is that of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh, whose tomb is disturbed by grave robbers. According to legend, the pharaoh's curse brings death and misfortune to those who desecrate their resting place. The mummy is often depicted as a decaying, wrapped figure, slowly coming to life to seek vengeance. With their slow, methodical movements and their unholy connection to the past, mummies are terrifying reminders of the dead's ability to return. The idea of an ancient curse that follows those who disturb the dead is deeply unsettling. The mummy's pursuit of retribution makes it one of the most terrifying undead creatures. 8. The Draugr. The Draugr is a creature from Norse mythology, often described as an undead Viking. It is said to rise from the grave to protect its treasures or to seek revenge. Draugrs are usually larger than their living counterparts and are associated with extreme strength. They are often depicted as bloated, decaying corpses that have been brought back to life. In some versions of the myth, Draugrs can shape-shift and control the weather. Their fearsome appearance and relentless nature make them terrifying. Draugrs can attack the living, and their presence brings death and destruction. The idea of an undead warrior returning to haunt the living is one of the most terrifying in Norse mythology. Their connection to death and the afterlife gives them an eerie power. 9. The Jiangshi. The Jiangshi is a Chinese hopping vampire, a terrifying undead creature from Chinese folklore. Unlike traditional vampires, Jiangshi do not fly or transform into bats. Instead, they are reanimated corpses that hop to move, driven by a hunger for human life force. The Jiangshi is said to be created when a person's soul does not leave the body after death. Its decaying body becomes stiff and rigid, leading it to hop in search of victims. The creature is often depicted with long, outstretched arms and a pale greenish complexion. The Jiangshi can be repelled by loud noises, mirrors, or specific talismans. However, when it does attack, the Jiangshi can drain the life from its victim. This supernatural creature's eerie appearance and deadly nature make it one of the most terrifying undead beings. 10. The Churls. The Churl is a creature from Indian folklore, often depicted as an undead woman with a twisted, terrifying appearance. According to the legend, the Churl is the spirit of a woman who died during childbirth or in some tragic way. Her spirit rises from the grave, often in search of revenge. The Churl is said to have a beautiful face, but it hides a terrifying secret. Its feet are turned backward. When it approaches a man, it often tries to seduce him. Once he is close enough, the Churl reveals its true form and attacks. Its thirst for blood makes it a feared creature among locals. The idea of a female spirit seeking vengeance and luring men to their doom is both tragic and terrifying. The churl's ability to blend in with the living and its horrifying nature make it a particularly unsettling undead creature. Outro. These undead creatures remind us of the unknown and the terrifying possibilities of the afterlife. From zombies to vampires, each of these creatures carries a legacy of fear and fascination. Their eerie appearances and sinister motives continue to captivate and horrify. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more chilling content on the world's most terrifying myths and legends. Thank you for joining us as we explored the most horrifying undead creatures known to humanity.